This guy was so desperate to save his hair that he started taking the strongest anti-androgen on the market. And 1 year later, he recovered his hair back.
That's good.
But he also accidentally became a woman.
Ooh, that's bad.
So today we are going to look at the 3 craziest and stupidest ways people are regrowing hair. Because these are the people who seem to do little to no research before getting a hair transplant or taking medication. And more often than not, they end up hugely regretting their decision. So this is a video about what you can learn from these people's mistakes. Things you should never do, no matter how desperate you are to regrow your lost hair. So let's go. First, we have a failed hair transplant. So real quick, the 2 things I really hate about hair transplants are: number 1, you don't know the exact results you are going to get. It could be amazing results like Elon Musk, for example, who is one person where I honestly think they did him a great hair transplant. But you could also get the baby doll hair appearance, which is unfortunately the case very often. And second, another thing I don't like about hair transplants is that you are putting faith in a stranger to do the job right. Many times people go to random clinics they find, hoping to get their hair fixed, but instead what they get is this: over-harvested or healthy. Oh my god, I may need to blur this while editing. Imagine squeezing a lemon in the donor area. This is insane and clearly done by a clinic that should be avoided. First of all, when looking at the donor area, which is completely destroyed now by the way, the doctor seemed to be harvesting from DHT sensitive hair up there. That is not good, man. Those hairs are DHT sensitive and it defeats the whole goal of a hair transplant. You can't harvest hairs that would also naturally fall after some time. Do your homework, guys. Now, second, the issue with these hair transplants is that he will probably still not look good afterwards. Here is an example of a guy who also had an over-harvested donor area, but still there was no hair in the results. This could be because of excessive shock in the recipient area, which makes the follicles not survive, or that they did not use enough density. Like here, look at this other person. They did a hair transplant on him at Bosley in Pennsylvania, so not even in Turkey, which is what you would normally expect. And the issue? It was not densely packed enough, which is clearly visible when he grew his hair long. Imagine paying over $10,000 to get such a shitty hair transplant. I would be super pissed if I were him. So the problem with this whole thing is that you end up needing to go for a second or probably a third hair transplant, which hikes up your costs and leaves you bankrupt. Also, since there is no more hair in the donor area to make a new hair transplant, since they fucked it up, they need to extract hairs from other areas such as the chest. Here's a picture to illustrate that. And you may think that's okay, but you know what the problem with that is? Well, unlike the hair on the head, chest hair only grows until a certain length. So you can imagine how bad this looks. Not to mention that chest hair has a completely different texture than the scalp hair. Wow, this whole thing pisses me off. Okay, next up on the stupidest things people do to regrow hair is taking Minoxidil the wrong way. And this one is a huge problem. Now, almost everyone here knows that topical Minoxidil is one of the greatest treatments to regrow lost hair. I use it and there's no doubt that it can work wonders, especially if you combine it with a microneedling device, which is also what I do. Now, one thing that not so many people may know is that back in 2022, the New York Times published this report titled "An Old Medicine Grows New Hair for Pennies a Day, Doctors Say." They were talking about oral Minoxidil, not topical. They argued, and this is true, that oral Minoxidil bypasses many of the issues of topical Minoxidil, having to penetrate the scalp and be converted to its active form, minoxidil sulfate. They said that according to the doctors they interviewed, there was this beta form, the oral Minoxidil pill, that was very easy to take and showed better results. What they failed to mention was that the problem with oral minoxidil is that it's also a high blood pressure medication. If taken in large doses, it can cause serious health issues, such as an increased heart rate, tachycardia, swollen ankles, and in many bad cases, fluid retention around the heart, which could potentially lead to death. So, what happened? People on Reddit, when they heard about this article, started going crazy, talking about oral minoxidil and wanting to order it. Oral minoxidil is not approved to treat hair loss, unlike topical minoxidil. So what some, and sorry for the word, stupid people did was drink topical minoxidil. Like this guy, drinking topical minoxidil progress 4.5 months. You can clearly see the insane hair regrowth results, especially at the temple area, which was completely lost, but he recovered it. Or this other guy, here it may have worked too well. Drinking topical minoxidil, extreme hair growth everywhere. Now, besides the obvious, why is it so dangerous to do this? These guys think they have it under control because they were measuring the exact doses of topical minoxidil they would drink a day. You know what measurement they used? Drops. Yes, drops. They would say stuff like, I take a shot of 3 drops of topical minoxidil a day. Last I heard, drops were not a reliable unit of measurement. So for all we know, they could genuinely be safe and taking a normal dose of oral minoxidil, or overdosing, which is my guess after taking a look at these pictures, and risking their health in the meantime. Super stupid. At last, to top it all off, we have the anti-androgen medications. You see, for the longest time, we have had 3 treatments that really helped to regrow hair: finasteride, minoxidil, and microneedling. These are what we call the big 3 in the industry. While minoxidil and microneedling work to stimulate hair to grow again, finasteride goes a step further and blocks the production of the hair loss hormone, DHT. So you can imagine why this works so well for more than 90% of people. What not so many people know, though, is that there is another way to stop hair loss, which is with anti-androgens. An anti-androgen is a substance that blocks hormones like DHT from binding to the hair follicles, helping to slow or stop the miniaturization process that causes androgenetic hair loss. People love this because they would not need to mess with their hormones and could still get their hair back, which in theory sounds nice, but in practice it's not. For example, we have a famous anti-androgen called spironolactone, and here is a famous post of someone who was taking it in combination with finasteride. And yes, a few years later he got all of his hair back, but he also became a she. This is not to make fun of the person who was going through hormone replacement therapy. But what people don't seem to realize is the danger of using anti-androgens. The comments are packed full of stupid people saying they don't seem to mind getting a bit more feminine if it means they will get their hair back. It goes to show how desperate people really are. Here's another example. 2 years on treatments which included 100 milligrams of spironolactone daily and 4 milligrams of estradiol. Yes, the results are insane, but you basically changed your whole body's DNA. I am someone who, when I was losing hair, understood firsthand the desperation that hair loss causes. But no treatment is worth it if it's going to worsen your health. Whether it's with a messed up hair transplant, an overdose of minoxidil which destroys your heart, or anti-androgens that change your sexuality completely. So I hope you learned a bit about what stupid people are doing today to save their hair. If you like this video, give it a like and share it with a friend who might need it. Until next time, I wish you a happy hair journey. Bye.